Kyle reviewed. Like and subscribe.
Hey guys, just finished watching Supergirl Season 1, Episode 5, Event Horizon. This episode was quite interesting, dealing with a lot with her getting a new suit and stuff, which was not really well written and stuff, and then dealing with, Lena knowing that Kara is Supergirl and stuff. And it's interesting the way they played it. I fully expected them to kind of play the whole, Lena doesn't tell Supergirl till later on that she knows she's Supergirl. And I'm glad that it's kind of out there. Kara knows and Lena knows she's Supergirl. What Kara doesn't know is that Lena has known for a while now. I mean, I don't know how much time has passed since the end of Season 4 and this first episode, but she's known for a little bit, maybe a couple of months type thing. So that's quite interesting to playing with that. We see that Lena is playing some sort of like VR of her like confronting Kara and being able to take out her emotions out in this VR virtual reality idea type thing. So that'll be quite interesting to seeing that. And I imagine at some point Kara or someone's gonna find out, see these footage of these VR stuff, which I don't know how they would, but maybe somehow I think I could see that happening at some point. We see that Kara's getting a Pulitzer for the article she wrote last season and stuff. We see Kara is scared of telling Lena that she's Supergirl, right? So that's interesting. We see that Obsidian North bought Catco, or Obsidian North, or what's her name? Andreas Rosa is the one who bought Catco. So interesting there. And we get this museum where they have one of Superman's ships. Apparently, he donated his ship to a museum. I mean, how stupid is that? I mean, why would Superman do that? Lex Luthor is constantly breaking into the Fortress of Solitude, trying to steal some of his tech to use against him. And why would he leave his tech there for anyone to kind of study? And if he did donate it, wouldn't the government pick it up and be like, oh, well, we want to study the crap out of this. So why would he donate that to a museum? That just doesn't make sense. Or someone like Lex Luthor would break in and try and steal the ship to try and study it himself to turn it into a weapon, So it's just kind of silly that he would donate that to there. Now, it would make more sense if they had a museum full of artifacts that that Superman saved people from, maybe like a toys from Toyman, that were decommissioned and stuff, things like that, right? Mechanical suits that Lex Luthor maybe used, or things, different things, or destructions, or Superman crushed this thing to save a building. Here's a bus that Superman picked up and famously saved from the bridge type thing. Different things like that would make more sense. Really kind of interesting. Different ways he did stuff. Maybe he bent this steel thing around this thing to hold this together, and have that item type thing. I think that could be something way cooler. He fixed this the side of this piece with his heat vision to save this building from crumbling. Right, that would make more sense than him donating his ship. It just seems a bit silly, and it got kind of careless on Superman's part to just donate that without thinking about the consequences of that being pretty much there to the public, right? So that's kind of silly there. And the fact that the government would even just leave it there and not want to study it, which is kind of silly too. So we see that there's a shape-shifting dinosaur. We obviously know it's kind of John Jones's brother and stuff from the end of last season. We see Andrea is shifting Catco into kind of, we see that the dinosaur rips Supergirl's jacket. Now we know she's a Martian and stuff, but we've seen Supergirl go do a lot of stuff, and her suit's never ripped. She's fought other Kryptonians and, flown into the sun, flown into outer space, and the suit's kind of stayed by. And they even said that the suit in the very first episode, the pilot of the show, that it's a Superman, this is the blanket that Superman was wrapped in, so it's not going to rip. And the cape rips. So I just didn't understand. They should have wrote it better as to why she needs a new suit. They just kind of, it rips, they're get a new suit. It's lasted 4 seasons, and it's gone through so much, and it just rips. Like, oh, come on. It would have made more sense if they had someone, maybe, I don't know. They could have wrote it better. You know, maybe have someone blast her with some sort of ray that's partial of kryptonite, you know, and the kryptonite destroyed it, you know. Maybe the suit is part Kryptonian too, and it rips. At least the cape, they said that was Kryptonian, and what they've established so far, they haven't specifically said it, but because it hasn't ripped any of the suit before, it's never ripped before. They're establishing that she has like a slight aura that, you know, protects her and the clothes she's wearing from getting damaged, you know. And then we've seen some episodes where, you know, her regular Kara clothes get burnt off and then the Supergirl suit is still there and stuff. So that probably gives the idea that there's like an inch or half an inch thick aura around her, protecting her from protecting the suit from getting ripped too much, you know. So it just doesn't seem consistent. It seems very lazy in the writing as to why she needs a new suit type thing. So they could have done it and maybe even just wrote it in a better way. Maybe not even needing to destroy the old one, just being, you know what, maybe she could have just said, yeah, you know what, I'm looking for a new suit. That would have been way more simpler and kind of easier to write if they just having her wanting to just make a new suit, right? That could have been interesting. Maybe wanted to retry something new. So I don't know, maybe they could have done something with Lena finding out that she's, you know, Kara tells Lena, and then Lena's like, you know what, I've always thought of redesigning your suit. Here you go. Here's another design, you know, or something like that. That could have been something to them to talk about. Maybe Lena could have put something in the suit. But yeah, the way they go about the changing of the suit is kind of terrible here. And then we see that Andrea is shifting Catgo's focus to a little bit more to make more profit and doing more clicks and stuff, and which makes sense. You know, business needs to thrive. They can't just be, you know, just reporting what they want to report just because it, you know, even if it's not making any profits, they have to make profits, right? So that's just kind of silly. Everyone not wanting to, you know, be profitable and be able to stay afloat as a business. And then it turns out they all signed a contract. You know, without reading it all. I mean, that's just kind of silly, you know, that they would just sign a new contract, and we didn't see them doing that. It's just kind of silly that they would have just done that without reading what happens if I don't agree with the, you know, this new company, you know. And some of them would have read, 3 years not able to work in journalism. No, that's it. Not sign it and leave right away, and then they could go straight to another company, right? It's just kind of silly that nobody picked that up in the contract. And then later on, at the end of the episode, we see James quits Catco, and she's like, "Oh, your career is over." His career is over for 3 years. He can't work in journalism for 3 years. So who's to say he can't go to another company and give them exclusive scoops and be their you know, be their confidential informant type thing, you know, anonymous source for everything for the next 3 years, and then come in and put his name on there, you know, give someone else the byline for 3 years and then go to do it like that, right? I mean, that would be kind of a bit shady, and if he got caught, they could probably sue him and stuff. But at the same time, it's only 3 years, and he's James Olsen, so all he has to do, you know, he has, you know, he's supposed to be a big name. I don't think 3 years, not just taking a 3-year vacation and then coming back to journalism. I feel like other companies would definitely still want him. You know, it's only 3 years, right? It's just like the Netflix Daredevil stuff. Yeah, there's a 2-year, 3-year hold on the character for now, but that doesn't change the fact that it's Daredevil. He's a popular Marvel character. You know, they'll wait the 3 years and then put him back on screen, and you know, he'll pick up. He could pick up where he left off, or he could, you know, he'll have popularity. He's not going to die, and people are not going to forget about him completely in 3 years. So it's just kind of silly there. And even if people have forgotten about, the companies have forgot about him, you could just get a scoop from Supergirl or Superman and find out what he needs to know about. You know, just make it another exclusive and come to another company and be like, here you go, here's this exclusive stuff. You know. Exclusive story. Or you could start now for the next 3 years and write spend 3 years researching on one topic and creating a bunch of articles, and then bring them to a company. So boom, here's some stories that I have, and I'm James Olsen, and his name's not going to die in 3 years, you know, and he has easy ways to just come back. So we'll have to wait and see as to where things go, but I like the idea. But I understand it's also kind of early setting up for Mehcad Brooks to leave the show. If I'm not mistaken, this is his last season, so we'll have to wait and see where things go for that. We see Kara tells Lena she's Supergirl, And Lena was about to reveal that to the world that, or to Catco, to Andrea specifically, so she could publish it to the world that Kara is Supergirl, and she decides not to. So that was kind of interesting. Interesting to see as to where things go. If she kind of turns down her plans, her plans can get all shuffled now that she was told. So that'd be quite interesting to see as to where things go. And it seems like a very kind of planned out thing, that it's going to be some sort of, she didn't want to hurt Supergirl, and she trusts the wrong person. It just seems a bit predictable that she's going to go and trust the season-long villain, and then all of a sudden it blows up and help the villain throughout the season, and then it blows up in her face, and she's just, I never meant for it to go this far type thing and all that stuff. So hopefully they can find a different way to doing that idea without it being predictable, that she's going to be, working with the villain the whole time until she realizes the villain is more evil than she thought, right? So I think that's going to be interesting to see as to where they go, but it just seems kind of predictable going that route. Then we get the end here. We see that John Jones meets his brother there, or is it Malefic Jones, who's actually played by Phil Lamar, who we didn't know Phil Lamar is. He's a prolific voice actor in the Justice League animated cartoons and all the Justice League games and all that stuff. He's the voice of not John Jones, but the voice of Green Lantern, John Stewart Green Lantern. So that's really cool having him here as a Martian, and it sounds like he's doing a version of the Green Lantern John Stewart voice, but he's deepening it a little bit more past that. So it's not an exact, he's not just doing the Green Lantern voice, the John Stewart voice, he's doing a deeper version of it, and I think that's really cool. It allows, if you didn't know who it was, to kind of somewhat recognize the John Stewart voice, but with it being still different a little bit. So I think that's really cool. And then we end the episode with Eve Tessmacher getting kidnapped by who knows what, but that'll be cool to see. So interesting to see as to where things are going to go with this. I wish there was a bit more of a tease to Crisis in this. So we'll have to wait and see where things go. Hopefully we get to see some Crisis stuff throughout this season, instead of just kind of jumping into it without any kind of tease to it. I'd like to see all 5 shows slowly tease and build up to Crisis. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys, in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Okay, Kyle has a YouTube channel called Kyle Reviewed. It's about Marvel and DC. I happen to know a little bit about DC since my initials are DC. All right, so if you like Kyle's interviews and videos and reviews and everything like that, then like and subscribe. If you don't like them, well, maybe you're just not a comic book fan.